right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Letters from Camp. This month I am joined by Ray Theberge, who is a longtime scouter and has become a part of the Winoxid family. Um, and so he is from Quincy, and they have also become a big part of the Winoxid family. So, Ray, we always like to start off by kind of getting people's kind of camp story. So maybe talking about camps you attended as a youth, what your experience was like, and kind of what camps you've been involved with over the years.
Yeah, fantastic. Be happy to. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up in Lewiston, Maine. I was in Troop 116 from Holy Cross Church, and I used to go to Camp Bombazine on Great Pond. I think it's been sold off, but was a great camp and have great memories going there as a kid, as a scout. But then I came to Boston to go to college and ended up settling here and getting married and having kids. And it was just a natural transition for them to get involved with scouting, which they took to, and then I became a leader, and it just kept snowballing there. So once I became a scoutmaster, sorry, I was a cub master, and I used to take the kids to Camp Massasoit down in Plymouth in Massachusetts, which has been sold off. And then when I became a scoutmaster, we started going to TL Store up in Barnstead, New Hampshire, and decent memories there. But it was time for a change. And we heard great things about Winoxet. So I came and visited one day and met you and Danny and Gary Savignano was the council scout exec at the time and just had a great tour and felt really good about it. And the troop had grown to a point where it was time for a change. So we came 10 years ago at the 90th anniversary. We had a special belt buckle made and have just had fabulous memories of it since then. So it's been a tremendous experience.
Yeah, so you mentioned that tour. I do remember that tour. It was the second longest I think we've ever given behind 76 Andover. When you first came and kind of took the tour, what were you looking for? Like, what were some of the things that were kind of, you wanted to meet your expectations?
I think I was looking for a camp that had the management that was a little bit more customer service focused, that was prioritizing the unit over, I guess, the council or potentially even the staff. I think some camps over time get a little long in the tooth, and the priority becomes the staff and making sure the staff is having fun and that the staff has a great year so that they come back, and the customer becomes secondary, if not tertiary. I think that's sort of the route that Store had taken, unfortunately. And so that's part of my reasoning about why we needed a change. So yeah, certainly I felt it instantly from you, from Gary, from Danny. And so then it was just a matter of finding the right site. And as you guys did, you walked us all around. And literally the minute I saw Apache, I went, yep, this is great. Because at the time we were 50, 60 kids. And we have a really high summer camp attendance rate. That's really important to me. I think that the summer camp experience is transformative. And so we really push that hard. I don't know that we get to 100, but probably 90, 95% of our scouts attend summer camp. And so the site fit us, and we've only grown since then. And we've had a lot of members become staff as well. So like you said, Quincy has become an integral part. And then we just started evangelizing and telling so many other units, you really got to check out Winoxet. They've got it right. The priorities are right. The experience is right. And so, yeah, we've been, I think, a key part of helping to Winoxet to grow and gain market share.
Yeah. So you've not only been involved kind of in the scouting arena, but also venturing. And how has camp changed over the years to kind of adequately cater to both programs? What do you see kind of on the venturing side as well?
Oh, that's a great question, Mike. I think that's a tough one, because I think the answer is I don't want to say a little different every year, but a little different every year. I think there was a big push in the beginning for venturing, or maybe the first 10 years, it was figuring out whether venturing was going to stick or not. What is it? How is it different than traditional Scouts BSA or Boy Scouts program? And then when Oxa jumped on board to say, okay, maybe we need to do something different for them. But I think in the end, I would answer your question this way, that I personally don't feel that Winoxet has a venturing specific program. And I'm okay with that because every year it has been, Ray, what does your group need? What do your scouts need? Whether they're in the venturing program or Scouts BSA, kind of doesn't matter. I say kind of, not extensively, but kind of doesn't matter. It's whatever they need. What are they interested in? Then we're going to deliver that program. And I think that's part of the secret sauce of Winoxet is that customer service. What do they need? If they need high adventure, then we'll do that. If they need climbing, then we'll do that. If they need aquatics, then we'll do that. If they need biking, then we'll do that. And so we've given the venture and crew what they needed for that year. Because sometimes it may be a mix of girls, sometimes it may be all girls, sometimes it may be no girls, sometimes they're all 19 years old, sometimes they're all 14 years old. And so you've been able to have the flexibility in the program, and that's one of the things I really value. Is in essence, every year it wasn't when we come with a venture and crew, when I had my crew hat on at that time, because I pretty much got the troop, functioning on their own. And so I'd really just need to focus on the crew. The answer has been, okay, you're going to meet with the PD or the assistant PD, and we're going to cater something for you for that week, for this year, that address your kids' needs. It isn't a cookie cutter. It isn't one solution answers everybody's needs. It's we're going to cater it for you. And the staff has been great about that as well. Whether behind the scenes they're, spitting nickels, I don't know. When the PD says you're giving up your siesta, or I know you normally want to do it that way, but you're going to do it different during this hour because the crew needs it that way. So hopefully that answers your question, and
Yeah.
I've been pleased with the product and the results.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So as we kind of mentioned, Quincy is firmly embedded in camp culture and the staff. As kind of a leader, whether it be through the troop or the crew, what does that kind of legacy mean to you to have people, our program directors from Quincy, and we've had other staff from Quincy. What does that kind of mean to you as seeing these people kind of come up and get embedded in camp?
Obviously, it's a great source of pride. Being on staff isn't everybody's cup of tea, as you know. And that's the beauty of the CIT program, right? Is come and try it and see if this is your calling, see if it's something that interests you. And then you can try it as a junior staffer and then see if it's something you want to take on as a senior. And I think of my son, Paul Trubiano, absolutely loves it, bleeds it, wish he could do it as a career. He just could never buy his own apartment. But anyways, Nick and obviously so many others, Jessica, we just had a great slew of staff members from Quincy. And it's been a great source of pride for us that role of being on staff, as I said, isn't for everybody, but when you find the right kid and in the right role, and you guys have been great about putting them in the right role. For me, one of my great mantras is setting up kids for success in scouting, and if a kid has an issue with, I don't know, public speaking, then maybe you want to put him in a public speaking role so he grows, but maybe not because it'll be such a deterrent. They'll have such a bad taste in their mouth, they'll never come back, So you have to find that right balance between pushing too hard and not enough. And so when you find the right kid who wants to be in staff, understands what the commitment is, that it's 7 or 8 weeks, you've given up your whole summer. It's not about the money, it's about serving your fellow scout, then great. And now let's find the right position to put you in that you're going to be a success at. And when all of that happens, yeah, it's a great source of pride. So we love being a part of the Winoxet customer base, and we love being we're proud of being part of the Winoxet staff team as well.
Yeah, and just see, obviously one of the reasons we're not successful is because of the amount of out of council units we have, but also I think it's because of those out of council staff as well. And thinking
Yes.
about just my own friends and people I became friends with, and they weren't from our council, but they're some of my best friends, and just because they were on staff, that happened. Yeah,
Exactly. They bring a diversity of opinion and points of view that I think are invaluable to making Winoxet the treasured camp that it is.
absolutely. So let's move into our lightning round, the questions we ask all our guests here. So
Is there
number
any
one,
money
what is
involved?
depends on your answers, I guess.
Oh, okay.
What is your favorite camp song?
Oh, what is my favorite camp song? Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine. Yeah. Usually for me, Friday morning breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about your favorite camp skit?
My favorite camp skit. I don't know that I have one. Yeah. I'll take a pass on that one.
All right. How about your favorite meal at camp?
Turkey, roast turkey, Thursday night. Yep.
Very common answer.
Yeah.
How about your favorite place in camp?
Ooh, my favorite place in camp. I'm going to say Chapel Point.
And then, is there anyone you'd like to particularly shout out? Maybe made a big impact on you, as maybe from like your first couple of years at Winoxet, that you want to kind of give a shout out to you that kind of just made a mark, when you first came to camp.
I'd say I have to say Danny's at the top. It all starts at the top in any leadership pyramid. It starts at the top. He really sets the tone and sets the priorities. There have been so many great leaders like yourself that I would certainly put in that list, but I would say it starts with Danny. So if I had to give a shout out, I'm going to give it to him.
All right. Any kind of, closing thoughts or closing comments that we didn't get to or that you wanted to throw out there?
No, just obviously that we hope it continues. The land is great. We look forward to continued investment in the property and investment in the program. I think that's part of what keeps me coming back and keeps me promoting is that Danny does prioritize. Obviously the council has to take their share, call that what you want, but that Danny does a good job of also fighting for keeping a share to reinvest back into the program, whether it's the inflatables or campsite improvements or what have you. Obviously, we look forward and love to see the capital campaign for a new dining hall continue. I'd love to see more development on what I'll call the east side of the road, on the dining hall side of the road. The road doesn't really bother me. Some people comment about it. That would never deter me from coming. I think the thing that I want to leave you with is to always remember, Mike, that the hemlock trees are the same where every camp in New England. The platform tents are the same everywhere in New England. Doesn't matter which one you go to. The canvas tents are the same no matter where you go. The dining hall, the chicken sandwiches, the water, as much as Danny promotes, the Thorndike, it's the same waterfront. What makes it different is the staff. It's the staff, it's the staff, it's the staff. They create the experience. And that's what matters, right? The kids leave with an experience they feel connected to, and they have a bond with the staff, and they want to come back to experience those memories and that staff again. And Danny gets that, and you get it, and so many others get it, that it's about serving the customer and leaving them with an experience. And as long as you do that, then we've been successful. Now it's up to us, I think, as unit leaders to weave in the values of scouting in the midst of that captive experience. And so we have to be challenged to continue to do that, to deliver the values of scouting, that it isn't just about babysitting. This isn't the Boys and Girls Club of America camp. This is the Boy Scouts of America camp. And so in partnership together, and I think that's something that keeps me coming back as a unit leader, continuing to promote it, is Danny, certainly, and you and others make me feel like a partner. When we get there, I feel like a valued customer, and you want to work with me all week, as much of a pain as that is. I know how much I fight for my kids, but that's my job, is to advocate for them. And I think for me, that is the Winoxet experience, is that Camp Winoxet respects the reality of the customer, who they are, and partners with unit leaders to make it a successful experience for everybody.
Absolutely. What you're saying about the staff, that we used to always have a visitation person who always used to say, with the right staff, you can run a camp in a parking lot, right? That part doesn't matter. So,
Right.
and then I did also want to, give you a little bit of kudos. I think, having seen a lot of different units come through camp, I think one of the things that makes yours not unique but special is how much reliance you put on that it's youth led, and that your youth leaders are so involved in the process and getting kids where they need to be and all of that.
Appreciate that.
Definitely something that I noticed right away. So kudos on that
I
to your
really
units.
appreciate that, Mike. We tend to always hear, I would hate to say it, the negative, we're the big white elephant in the room because we're so big, and we're the radio troop. Why do they all have to have radios? Because it's youth led, because the senior patrol leader needs to know where all of his patrol leaders are, and they all have radios, and he talks to them all day. Are you where you're supposed to be? Do you have the people with you that you're supposed to? By the way, we're missing Johnny. Where is he? And rather than run all around the camp, we just use the radios to make it more efficient. And
Mhm.
we do the special trips out to Sagey Island, to make it special. That's where I challenge the youth. I challenge the senior patrol leader. Okay, this is summer camp, and this is Winoxet. It's really good. But guess what? We have to take it a notch higher. We have to make every day special. So we'll have a special treat at night. Obviously pizza night is pizza night, Friday night, and then Monday night friendship fires. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got to do something over and above. We don't want the kids to just come back. Make it special. Do you remember we used to do the scavenger hunts out at
Mhm.
Sagey Island? We would bury candy or bury Mountain Dew somewhere in the island and incorporate a compass and some team building activity. And they'd all have to paddle out there. You take me out in the speedboat with
Mhm.
bags of candy and bury it on the island. So for me, that's what it's about, is making special, positive memories.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Ray. It's been a pleasure talking with you once again.
Always a pleasure, Mike. Truly great to see you and great to chat with you.
Thank you. And to all our viewers, make sure you tune in next month for our next episode of Letters from Camp. Make sure you subscribe. And all right, we'll see you next month.
All right. Look forward to it.